Hey there! So here I am again, and I'm going to be talking about another book adaptation which I didn't feel was very well done at all. And this one may come as a surprise for people who know me and the fact that I've read the book, but it's a genre that I'm sure people of books that I'm sure people don't really think that I have delved into, given the range of books that I like to talk about and such. But from time to time, you want to have something light, something that makes you laugh, something that's quick and easy to read, and has good characters and such in it. So I'm going to be talking about a chick lit book. As I said, a lot of people don't think of me of reading chick lit books, but there is one author in particular who I really, really like her work, and that's Sophie Kinsella. I think she's a really, really good writer, and she's written a series of books and one-off books, and every single time I read them I really do enjoy them, and I've stuck with them all, and I've read the ones before she wrote under her real name, because she wrote a series of books previously under a pseudonym, as Madeline Wickham was her pseudonym. So I've read all of the books before she rewrote as Sophie Kinsella. I've read the ones since then. I've bought every single one of them. So her writing, I see, it's not, oh, because she's a chick lit writer, therefore she can't be good or anything, because it's just going to be, a really, just funny things that happen and that's it. It's not it. She really delves into, a range of interesting things, and there are many laughs along the way, but she's a really, really good writer. So when Confessions of a Shopaholic, the film came out, I think I saw the film before I delved into Sophie Kinsella's work, but I'm not too sure about that. I'm I think it might have been around the same time, but I'm pretty sure that they were very, very close to each other. Because I can't remember, going to see this film, seeing the film and thinking, oh, I've got to get the book, or reading the book and thinking, oh my God, I've got to see the film. I think it was just a case of I stumbled across both of them near the same time. So the adaptation I'm going to be talking about is the film adaptation of the Confessions of a Shopaholic. Now the film's called the Confessions of a Shopaholic, but the actual Shopaholic series begins. The first book, I think, oh God, is the Dream World of a Shopaholic. I may be wrong about that, and if I am, I will put it in the description for this video. The Shopaholic series has been, I think it's 7 books now. There's one that's recently come out for Christmas, which I haven't got yet, because what I do is that because all of my Shopaholic books, well, I should say all my Sophie Kinsella books are in paperback, I'll wait until the paperback comes out to be able to read it. So on my list, a couple of books that I'm reading before I start this book challenge, one of them is the most recent Shopaholic book that Sophie Kinsella wrote before this new one that's come out for Christmas. So yeah, this time next year the paperback will come out of the one that's just been released, so I can read that then. But yes, I want to talk about the Shopaholic books. Now, the Shopaholic books, I absolutely love. Becky Bloomwood is our main girl. It's not just because we share the same first name that I really like her. She is a girl who loves fashion. She works in the book. She already works for a money magazine, advising people on the best things for their finances and such. The catch, and she has this great life, great flat and everything, great friends and that, but the catch is that she's actually, although advising people on good financial advice and everything, she is heavily in debt. She can't live in her flat anymore, and she's starting to fall apart. She hates her job, completely hates it. She's got debt collectors keep on running after her. There's a main one called Derek Smith who's constantly phoning her, and she's making up excuses like she's broken her leg, she's in hospital, her aunt has just died, she's been in a skydiving accident. lots and lots of different excuses and such to get away from this debt collector. And they're really, really good reads. I can't recommend them, more. They're absolutely brilliant reads. And say the fact that she's now on the seventh Shopaholic book, it really shows how popular Becky is and her adventures and everything. And it also proves, just from the number of books, that Becky just doesn't stop becoming a shopaholic overnight. Unfortunately, in the film adaptation, she does stop her shopaholic tendencies, and you're a bit like, but that's one of the things that make us love Becky, that no matter how bad, her situation is with her debt and everything, she has this really, really wonderful, optimistic view of life. And for that to kind of be taken away, to say, oh, I am now cured, oh, I'm better now, and all this lot, you kind of steal a bit of who Becky is, and that was one thing that I really didn't like about the film. The actual film itself is quite different as well. Becky lives in London, so it's all set in London and everything. In the film, she's from and lives in New York, so different country entirely. In the book, she's already works for a money magazine. In the film, she works for a gardening magazine which goes bust, and she ends up getting a job at Money Magazine, which is run by Luke Brandon, who is the love interest of the story. But in the book, Luke owns his own PR business, who are associated with the magazine. So as you can see, you've got characters that are in very different places in the story entirely, but there are, I liked how it depicted her, the way in which she viewed the world, and I liked very interesting things which the book never did. But when she sees something, Becky always makes an excuse as to why she has to buy it. So, for example, she'll say, "Oh, it's an investment." There's this whole thing about a green scarf, which it becomes very central in the film. It's not so central in the book, but it still has a key, element to it. And in the book, you obviously read, should I say, and hear all of her thoughts about why she should buy this scarf and everything. And in the film, because it's film, they have a way of uniquely displaying her thought process. And how they do that is that the mannequin comes to life and says to her, "Oh, it'll be an investment, it will go with absolutely everything. You want to look good at your job interview and this, that, and the other." So there, it's very interesting how they interpret the characters. Now, there's a lot of stuff in the books that isn't even mentioned in the film. So, for example, Tarquin, who is Susie's boyfriend. Susie is her best friend, who she lives with. I should have said that. Tarquin is actually Susie's cousin, which never gets brought up. But as they say over and over and over and over and over again in the book, they've had it checked out. It's not illegal. It's perfectly fine for them to be together. But it's whenever she introduces it, this is my cousin Tarquin, who is also my boyfriend, people kind of raise their eyebrows and go, "Oh, what the hell?" So it's always a little laugh when those situations happen in the book. Tarquin is also incredibly rich. He's like the 15th richest man in London or something, or it might be in England or something. So yeah, he's incredibly rich, and that's never even mentioned. Luke and his relationship with his parents is an interesting one as well. Given the range of stuff that the film does, it delves into stuff in this book, but there's also little elements of other books as well, and then there's a heck of a lot of stuff that doesn't even happen, and it's a bit like they kind of did a mix mash of a load of different elements from this book series, they've thrown in a load of stuff that's not even in the book, and then they go and set it in a completely different country. So you're kind of it's lost touch with it, even though it's still, Becky Bloomwood, and it tells, this, that, and the other, and it loses touch with the reality of this world very quickly. So, I mean, it does have its moments. There are some nice bits in it, and it does make me laugh that when when she is told by Sue that she has to attend Shopaholics Anonymous, and it's a group who are talking about shopping and such, and trying to not go shopping, and they have this various chants and such, and for those little moments, I think the film is all right, but as a book adaptation, it just was completely bad. I couldn't connect what the true feel of the story of Becky Bloomwood, the true depthness of the characters to this book. And it is kind of, even though you learn more about Luke, the main love interest, and you learn various things about Becky and such, I don't feel that they're the same characters that I read in this book. They're a bit more two-dimensional in the film compared to the book. I mean, these are people with real thoughts and feelings and everything, and the film also keeps on going on about Derek Smith trying to catch up with Becky, and yes, he does. He there's a good chunk of this book that is dedicated to him trying to get hold of her and her making up excuses and all this lot. But there's also that thing in the film as well where trying to get his comeuppance because he is so mean to her and everything, and he ends up, spoiler alert, completely humiliating her on national television and revealing to everyone her debt problems. That doesn't happen in this book. Derek Smith actually turns out to be not too bad a guy. He's just doing his job, and because of what happens in the book, she gets more financially stable, nowhere near where she needs to be, but she is more financially stable. And he says to her, "Okay, you're in an okay place right now, so I'll keep an eye on you just in case anything happens, but I'll take a step back." And you feel her relief that she's, whew. But yeah, I kind of didn't like also that it was set in New York, because the second book is called Shopaholic Goes Abroad, and it's all about her going to, I believe it is to New York, or it might be Los Angeles, but it's a huge deal for her. She's so excited, and all of the shops in America, and how glitzy and glamorous, and everyone is so lovely and encouraging her to get stuff. And what would it be like to become a stylist for customers in Barney's and stuff like that? And she really, really gets really, really excited and everything. And it's like, but it's set in New York, so you've completely cut that. Yeah, I have to say I really wasn't impressed by the film of this, even though I do kind of watch it from time to time when it's on TV, but I don't own a copy. I'm not fussed about, owning one. I much prefer the Becky Bloomwood that I know from the books, who I hold deeply in my heart, and who I go back to on the page rather than the screen. So that was Confessions of a Shopaholic. If you want to leave your comments on what you thought, then please do. If you want to let me know what you thought in other ways, there's a thumbs up button, and there's also the thumbs down button. Let me know what you thought. I'd love to hear your views, and I will be back soon with another video of an adaptation which I wasn't too impressed by, and I think it's going to be a good one. We'll see how my video turns out. But yeah, I will see you guys soon.